Muslim Women's Network decided to do this report because there was this myth being sort of peddled by some sections of the media and also some politicians as well, that only white girls were being groomed. And we know that, and all the research shows that all children are at risk of being sexually exploited.
I don't feel that Muslim girls are untouchable. I think people have a perception that all young Muslim girls are all locked up at home, their parents keep them in 24/7. We're living in a society and a culture that doesn't happen. I don't think it ever happened. I think it's just a perception people see. The problem is that they're so vulnerable, and these groomers who go after these young Muslim girls actually see them as an easier target than a white young girl.
A typical scenario would be that girls could be befriended at school with boys of a similar age who perhaps were asked by older men to target girls. They would then introduce them to an older male who would become the boyfriend of the girl. She would, the usual, given gifts, rides in flashy cars. Then she would be raped and then blackmailed into then having sex with other men.
One gentleman that spoke out about this said that it was quite scary about how that Muslim girls are targeted, and that when he actually spoke to males that said, you know, who would they target, who would be the easy target, they said Muslim girls. Why? Because they're cheaper to target. Cheaper, you know, what would cheaper target be? Well, you know, white girls might be a bit more pickier, might be a bit harder to convince, but Muslim girls only have to hear the word that I love you, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, and they're easy to target.
The victims, many of them had underlying vulnerabilities. They either came from dysfunctional families, they had learning disabilities, or there was some kind of violence at home. There's something going on with the girls, or they were trying to escape a sort of a harsh and conservative controlling environment. But the most striking feature was where we did have a background of what was going on. At least 1/3 had sort of experienced sex abuse as a child previous to the exploitation.
In terms of there being more of an issue around Muslim females or Sikh females, another case or another issue that's been recently reported upon. I'm not seeing that reflected in the cases that have been reported to us. But that said, you know, as I've said before, we are absolutely alive to the fact that because of the reluctance in coming forward victims, that there is underreporting.
I mean, the main reason why the girls were not coming forward was because of blackmail. They were scared that their families would find out, the wider community would find out what had taken place. They were scared that, you know, if their family found out, they would be thrown out, they could be forced into a marriage. And in instances, in the cases where the family did find out, that's exactly what happened.
There's always this, you know, oh, you can't talk about this because such and such will know, or this uncle will know, or this auntie will know. That needs to stop. The problems need to stop being pushed under the mat.